The yo-yo hits the floor with a dull plastic click. The other one doesn't make a sound at all. It floats for a fraction of a second longer than gravity should allow, then snaps back into the hand like it's thinking for itself. Same motion, same concept. One costs $1. The other costs $100,000. And the difference between them isn't just money, it's a completely different universe. This isn't a story about a toy. This is a story about obsession. American innovation, precision taken to an extreme, and how far humans are willing to go to turn something simple into something legendary. By the end of this journey, the idea of cheap in luxury will never feel the same again. The $1 yo-yo lives on a metal hook in a gas station or dollar store. It hangs next to lighters, keychains, and candy that melts before you get home. Thin plastic shell, rough axle, a string that feels like it was cut 5 seconds before packaging. No branding worth remembering, no promise of greatness. You don't choose this yo-yo, it chooses you. For $1, you get the most stripped-down version of physics imaginable. Drop it. It falls. It spins. It comes back up. Sometimes. Other times it wobbles. Vibrates and dies halfway like it ran out of motivation. The plastic heats up. The axle squeaks. The string frays fast. And yet it works. That's the miracle hiding in cheap American products. They don't aim for perfection. They aim for survival. This yo-yo exists to be good enough. Good enough to sell millions. Good enough to teach a kid gravity. Good enough to be forgotten. But even in its flaws, it carries history. This is the same basic design that entertained people during the Great Depression. Same idea that soldiers used to pass time. Same simple object that crossed generations because it didn't need upgrades to function. Then the box opens on the other side of the table and reality shifts. The $100,000 yo-yo does not hang on a hook. It arrives in a custom-cut case lined with material softer than most jackets. The lid opens slowly, almost ceremonially. Inside, the yo-yo doesn't shine, it glows. Aerospace-grade titanium, hand-polished edges. Micro-engraved serial numbers so small they look fake. This yo-yo wasn't manufactured. It was crafted. The axle is made from materials used in jet engines. The bearings are tuned to tolerances smaller than a human hair. Every carve was tested not just for balance, but for airflow. Engineers didn't ask, "Will it work?" They asked, "How perfect can spinning become?" When you pick it up, it doesn't feel like a toy. It feels dense, calm, controlled, like it's already balanced before you even throw it. The first drop is quiet, no wobble, no vibration. The spin is so smooth that it looks unreal, like CGI effect in a movie. The yo-yo sleeps at the bottom of the string longer than seems possible, holding momentum like it's refusing to obey time. And that's when the first uncomfortable thought hits. This thing doesn't just outperform the cheap yo-yo, it exposes it. On the dollar yo-yo, every trick feels like a fight. The string twists, the body shakes. You adjust your hands to compensate for its mistakes. The yo-yo demands forgiveness. On the luxury yo-yo, the fight disappears. Every movement is intentional. Every return is instant. It doesn't forgive errors, it reveals them. Miss a motion, and it tells on you immediately. That's the hidden cost of luxury. It removes excuses. The cheap yo-yo hides your lack of skill behind its limitations. The expensive one puts a spotlight on you. There's nowhere to hide when the tool is flawless. And that's when the story stops being about spinning plastic and starts being about America. Because the $1 yo-yo represents mass production at its most ruthless efficiency. Injection molded plastic. The assembly lines optimized for speed, not soul. Profit margins so thin they rely on volume, not pride. The $100,000 yo-yo represents the opposite extreme. It exists because someone asked a question No spreadsheet could justify, what if we made the best yo-yo in the world regardless of cost? That question leads to small workshops, to machinists with decades of experience, to designers who throw away prototypes that already outperform everything else on the market because almost perfect isn't good enough. At this level, time becomes the real price. Hundreds of hours to shave off microscopic imperfections. Countless failed versions that never leave the lab. Materials rejected not because they're bad, but because they're not legendary. Here's the twist nobody expects. The $100,000 yo-yo doesn't make you happier. It makes you quieter. There's no excitement from surprise. No chaos. No randomness. It delivers exactly what it promises. Every single time. The thrill doesn't come from what work. It comes from knowing it already will. The cheap yo-yo, on the other hand, is pure chaos. It surprises you. It frustrates you. Sometimes it accidentally does something amazing. Other times it embarrasses you in front of everyone. And weirdly makes it memorable. This is where luxury and cheap American products collide in an unexpected way. Cheap products create stories. Luxury products create silence. One gives you experiences. The other gives you mastery. Even the sound tells a story. The cheap yo-yo rattles as it spins, screaming its imperfections. The luxury yo-yo is almost silent, like it's embarrassed to make noise. At high speeds, the expensive yo-yo cuts through air so cleanly that you hear the string before the body. That's not an accident. That's engineering chasing obsession. And now comes the most shocking truth of all. No professional needs a $100,000 yo-yo. World-class competitors can dominate stages with tools that cost a few $100s. Skill will always beat price. The luxury yo-yo exists not because it's necessary, because it's possible. It's a flex of human capability. The $1 yo-yo says, this is enough. The $100,000 yo-yo says, what if enough isn't the point? And that question echoes far beyond toys. It's the same question behind luxury watches that keep time no better than a phone. Supercars stuck in traffic. Hand-boiled furniture in a world of flat-pack boxes. America thrives in both extremes. The cheapest and the most expensive. Existing side by side, daring you to decide what matters more. In the end, the $1 yo-yo will be lost, broken or forgotten. The $100,000 yo-yo will be displayed, insured, maybe passed down. One is disposable, the other is preserved. But here's the final reveal that flips everything upside down. Both yo-yo's exist for the same reason. To remind us that even the simplest idea, string, and a spinning object can become anything. A tool, a masterpiece, or a mirror reflecting how far we're willing to go. The real difference isn't what's in your hand. It's what you believe is worth chasing. If you love discovering these secrets, make sure to subscribe because what's coming next will blow your mind.